So in today's show, we're going to talk about the cups being left half full. Welcome to the Time Domination Show. I am your host, James Baldwin. And if you are coming through, please do let me know. Please let me know if you've experienced this, if you have any questions, if there's anything you'd like me to help you with in terms of bringing up the topic on the show. How are we doing? Hope you're good. So I want to talk about this because this is something I used to struggle with massively. Now, way back in the day when I started my very first business, which was a great business, it was a fitness boot camp. I had just come out of the military. I spent a year and a half teaching and then threw myself into a brand new business. I didn't know what I was doing, and I just had to learn very, very quickly how to run a business. It really created me as an individual. It gave me identity and clarity about loving being an entrepreneur, right? But in the early days, there was no such thing as personal management, time management, working efficient, being productive. I don't really know a lot about that stuff. I was just trying to learn actually how to get people through the front door. And one of the things that I always used to do were to-do lists. And to-do lists, I would just literally grab a piece of paper and I'd write down every single thing that I needed to do. And I never used to prioritize this. And I just used to work off the list. And I used to work from the top to the bottom, just in whatever order I wrote down what I needed to do, which when I look at that now, gives me shivers. It's like crazy. It isn't effectively what I would call today a brain dump. Now, a brain dump is when we write down on a piece of paper everything we've got to do, but we utilize it by adding a priority system into that to-do list. So these are the things that need doing first, these are the things that need doing second, and these are the things that can be done next week. But I didn't have that back then. And many people that I know or have worked around in their businesses don't have that now. So when you work off your to-do list, I would then start work on Monday, and I would end up working on that thing that was at the very top of my to-do list. And remember, it's in no order, it's just in the order that came into my head and I wrote them down. So I'd get off to work and I'd start following this task. Then all of a sudden I would start realizing problems or realizing there are things that need doing immediately. So what would end up happening is that I would stop that first job that was at the top of my list, then come down and start on that job that needed doing right away. So I start doing that job, and then I get through the week and then realise, oh my God, I need to do this to achieve this, and that's a little bit more of a priority. So then I'd stop doing that second job that I did, because then there was another priority job that came along, and I ended up watching that, starting that task. And before you knew it, by the end of the week, I had 4 or 5 jobs on the go. I hadn't completed any of them. And what I had was about 4 or 5 cups half full, where I'd started a task but not finished it. And that's what I would call the doing everything but nothing scenario. Okay, you seem to be working flat out, you're a busy fool, you're putting lots of work in, but you're achieving nothing because no tasks are being complete. Now, I see this all the time. You know, I'm working with guys on my Time Domination program. A couple of them are experiencing this right now. And it's really inefficient when it comes to your time, your energy, your productivity, your balance, your mental and emotional well-being in terms of like staying stable whilst running a business. Running a business is very difficult already as it is without us having a pile-up of jobs. And if you can visualize this, and if you imagine on the desk, and you see it sometimes in films where they put a file down, then they put another file down, then they put another file down, and what you have is this stack of files, and these are all jobs that need doing. And you can feel that the overwhelm and the sweats and the stress is building up because the pile is getting higher and higher and higher. And then you end up getting to the point where you don't know whether you're coming or going. So listen, I want to give maybe a couple of tips on how we can avoid this. For me, one of the things that I like to do on a Friday morning is what I call a brain dump. So it's like that to-do list that I was talking about at the very start. And I break it down into sections. So I break it down into my health, things that involve relationships, things that involve my personal development, but most importantly, my business. So I then break that to-do list down into those 4 pillars. I then prioritize. So I'm talking about my business list here. So I then prioritize what needs doing on that list. What needs to be done in terms of deadlines? What is the most important thing in terms of bringing in revenue? Because without revenue, you don't have a business. So I then go through this process of numbering them off. Number 1s are the things that are going to be done first. They're the things that are, if I have a shocking week, that must be done by the end of the week. Number 2s are things that I would say that are secondary. So if I have some time after doing the number 1s, they're the next jobs that I would go on to when the number 1s are complete. And number 3s are the things that can wait or be delegated. So once I create that brain dump, I then look at my working slots during the day. Now, I've talked about the kill zone, and that's another for another show. But I work to 90-minute intervals. So I'll work from 9 to 10:30, 11 to 12:30, 1:30 to 3 o'clock. And in those 3 periods, I need to make sure that I'm managing my priorities on my to-do list and slotting in what I'm going to do on each of those periods. Now, the key thing is that within those working periods, I don't do anything else other than one task. I only focus on the one task. So when I look at my brain dump, when I look at my number 1s, when I look at the toppest priority that's there, that's the first thing that I'm going to start working on between 9 and 10:30. So all of my time, all of my energy is put into that slot there. I then work out roughly how long that task is going to roughly take me. So if it's going to take me 3, maybe 4 hours, I would then say that the first period of each day between Monday and Wednesday is what I'm going to work on that task. So I know that Monday 9 till 10:30, Tuesday 9 till 10:30, Wednesday 9 till 10:30, I'm going to be working on this task and nothing else. Okay, the reason that I don't go, I'm going to do this from 9 to 10:30 and then 11 to 12:30 is that sometimes you can overwhelm yourself in one task. Sometimes you need to be able to step away and then come back in. What I would do in the second period is then look at my next number 1 focus and begin that phase, work out how long that takes. That might take 3 hours, so I know that Monday, Tuesday, I'm going to write in my diary, boom, I'm working on this priority. Then in the afternoon, I then look at if there's any other number 1s, if there's no more priorities, great, then what I'll end up doing is starting on my number 2s. All right, and then I kind of do that for the week. And then that tells me exactly what tasks and jobs I would have finished by the end of the week. That gives me structure, that gives me a system, that gives me clarity, that lets me know where my time and my energy goes, and that lets me know how productive I can be. So you have a clear map of process that's going to happen throughout the week. You know exactly where your time and energy is going to be. You know what the outcome's going to be by the end of the week because you forecasted it. You forecast your money, you forecast your personal time. Let's make sure that we're doing that with our business time so that we can be productive. So that at the end of the week, we say, I've completed my 3 tasks that I said I wanted to do. I've completed the 3 number 1 priorities that I said I would. And as a bonus, because I'm top of my game, I've completed 2 of my number 2s. And that way, you then can plan again on Friday to then go into the following week. Structure, routine, systems, habits, clarity, all of the good stuff that we want within our business. That then allows us to be able to grow our business. It allows us to be able to grow ourselves without feeling overwhelmed, without feeling like we've got the weight of the world bearing down on us. All right, guys, I'd love to know what you thought of this. If this has helped you, it's great. It would have been probably better on a whiteboard, but we don't have any in the beach huts here. But go out, implement, practice, learn, grow, repeat. Learn, grow, repeat. It never stops. It never ends. Keep working on yourself within your business. And when you start doing that, you're going to see the growth go through the roof.